Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 145. My name is Jason Erpling. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
And today is November 15th, 2023, which means your 11th month window is October 15th, 2024. And your 7th month window is June 15th, 2024. I see you're wearing a Disney Cruise Line shirt. Does that mean that you just went on another Disney cruise? Is that foreshadowing?
No foreshadowing.
Okay. Just tried to check there.
If I'm being honest, the only way I'll probably go on a Disney cruise again is if I'm able to get an amazing travel agent deal. Just because while Disney Cruise Lines were very, very good, they're just so expensive. And for a good amount less money, I could go on Royal Caribbean, which I find on par with Disney personally. So I just probably won't be on Disney Cruise Line for a while.
And so now we're on to the buy and sell side of things. And today we're going to give you a few tips on making an offer. Ooh. So one thing that has come up recently is if you're already a member, if you're already a member and you have, let's say, 2 names on your deed and you're making an offer and you're going to put those same 2 names on the deed, you want to put the names, you want to keep the names consistently, meaning if you have first name, middle initial, last name, that's what you want to do for the next deed. If you have first name and just last name, you want to do that. Believe it or not, there is a certain percentage of people that don't know how their previous deed is. So we can always look up that deed as long as it's not, if it's an Alani deed or a Grand California deed, we'll have to get some help from a title company to locate that deed. Otherwise, we can just look up those deeds, see exactly how it is titled, and then title it the same way. So you want to know how your current deed is when you're going about. If you already know, then it helps when you go to make an offer. And then the next thing is be ready to move forward if the seller accepts your offer. Now, some sellers, you'll make an offer and they'll respond within minutes and they'll accept your offer and the contract will be to you within minutes. So, be ready to move forward. This isn't like it's typically not even a week-long process. It moves pretty quick. And then you need to be patient with Disney on right of first refusal. Now, this is where Disney, it changes all the time. Sometimes Disney will take 25 days, and then that's their normal cycle. And then sometimes Disney will take 12 days, and that's their normal cycle. Sometimes it'll take 7 days, and that's their normal cycle. As soon as we hear on right of first refusal, we email you. So, you don't have to, I can't speak for all the other companies, but like with us, you don't have to check in and say, have you heard? Because as soon as we hear, we're going to let you know. And then once it waives, so now if you get the email that Disney waives, now you want to be prepared to close on the property. Like most buyers wire funds. So, if you're going to wire funds, you want to have, that set up, which account you're going to wire the funds from. And you're going to have to sign the documents, send them in. And then once it closes, that's again where you want to be patient because Disney, they may set up your account in 15 days, load the points 5 days later. They may set up your account in 21 days and then take 7 days to load your points. Unfortunately, we're not the ones that are setting up your account and loading your points. That's going to be through Disney. And then once everything's set up, boom, you can log in, DVCmember.com. You can start making your reservations and planning all your trips.
I always felt the toughest part is the waiting on the Disney part, because by then everything is done, you're gung-ho, ready to go, and sometimes Disney's fast, and sometimes they're just taking a while to load the points. You're like, just every day you're looking, just go, when are the points going to load? Just waiting for them so you can start booking those vacations.
Yeah, because the first part is you're logging in to see if your account's created. And you start logging in every day. So then you see your account's created. And now you're going to log in every day because you want to make sure that they load the points correctly. So you're logging in, and then the points are loaded. and then it looks correct, and then like, you're like, okay, here we go. Time to start making some reservations.
Yep.
All right, now we're on to the food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for today's food review, we are back with Debbie. She is still in the France pavilion, still recovering from the escargot croissant last time. So
And that was the item that she threw away?
she took 2 bites and threw it away.
Oh.
I think she scored it as a 2.1. So I guess she, after having the escargot, she said, I need something sweet. And she tried the creme brulee vanilla, it's in French. Vanille à la confiture de fraises vanilla. It's a vanilla creme brulee with house-made strawberry jam. Why I even tried to just pronounce the rest of that in French, I don't know. I regret it already.
You need Joey from Friends to read that. If you remember
Exactly.
that, so.
Vanilla creme brulee with house-made strawberry jam, $5.95. Let's see how she did. She thought it was fantastic. The burnt sugar topping was perfect. The strawberry jam is under the vanilla cream and the flavors went together perfectly. She said she would get this again and again, 9.2. The only complaint is that she wished she had a bigger portion, but she still felt like it was a good value for the price she paid. And then she ended this, even though she said it, she wrote, I'd love this one. So that's fantastic. Last week I had mine that I think I scored a 9.2 as well for the, no, I think I give it a 9.6 possibly for the Satuli Canteen wonderful chimichurri steak. So that's 2 really, really strong ones in a row after 2 disappointing ones with Disney. So thank goodness. We're on the right track.
And now on to the DVC-rental side of things.
So on the rental side, I want to go over some top 5 tips when renting DVC points. The first tip is to start by researching a trustworthy DVC point rental broker or dealing directly with somebody who's a DVC member. There are ways to protect yourself. You really, really have to be careful online. There has been a lot of scams recently. I mean, luckily, Jason probably doesn't know this one as much. There's a couple people who every week reach out to me if they see somebody who's in our group who just got approved because they've been in another group and been called out as a scammer in another group, or they'll let me know sometimes like, hey, we just found out, insert random name here is just ripped off somebody in one of the other rental groups, so keep an eye out on them. So even if they're not in our group, so we have to watch out for them. But they're just so many scammers that have really, really popped up over the past couple of years. So definitely the first tip is to find somebody that you are comfortable with. Any of the larger brokers, obviously, you're going to be safe with. We prefer if you go with DVC-Rental, put in the dash to save the cash. But I mean, if you pick one of the other guys out there, odds are you're going to be perfectly fine too. These are legit companies that have been around many years. If you're looking for somebody online, there's the Orlando Comptroller site where you can look to see if they've got a deed in their name. You can check that, but ask for references. There's ways to protect yourself, but first one is be careful with who you're booking with. Second tip when renting DVC points is to make sure you plan well in advance. A lot of the resorts, the top tier resorts, you're going to want to try to book at least 11 months in advance. Otherwise, once you hit the 7 months out, anybody who owns at different resorts can start booking there. So you definitely want to try to book if you can more than 7 months in advance, because that 7-month window availability many times can start dropping. Try to stay closer to 11 months out if possible, because that way you'll get the best accommodations. Typically, the least expensive options are the first ones to sell out. Studios are always the first to go. And if at like a boardwalk, if there's, a standard room and the preferred room, the standard view is going to go first. Same with Bay Lake Tower. The standard view always typically goes first because you figured you're at the top resort for the least expensive buy-in price. So plan in advance. Less expensive rooms are going to fill out first. Then understand the booking process. Familiarize yourself with DVC booking process, including the points charts, availability, room categories. If you're able to, be flexible on your dates. That will definitely help you out. Resorts like Beach Club could possibly be sold out. They're smaller resorts. If you're flexible with your dates, that could possibly help out. Or a lot of times people will do what they call a split stay. They'll say, I want to go 7 weeks at Beach Club, and we'll let them know that only the first 3 nights are available. So possibly you can do 3 nights at Beach Club, and then for the remaining 4 nights, pick a different resort. So anytime flexibility is king, it's going to be on your side. Whether it's by moving dates and saying, I really want these dates, but a week later, 2 weeks later, the resort I want's available. That push it back. That works out well. Or again, possibly a split stay. So any flexibility you can offer is going to help out with your stay. Number 4 is review the rental agreement and policies. Carefully read and understand the rental agreement and policies provided by the broker or owner. Pay attention to cancellation policies, payment methods, and additional fees that may apply. Every broker is going to have different rules and different policies. Owners are, 100% able to do whatever they want. So nobody's pretty much going to be the same. They're all going to be very, very different. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to what each owner is trying to tell you. And definitely consider, number 5 is definitely consider travel insurance. When you rent points with DVC-Rental, all of our reservations automatically come with our free, no questions asked travel insurance, which means you can cancel for any reason. You may want to look into possibly purchasing outside insurance, because with our rental insurance, you get everything for free, but there is no money back. It is a credit that you get with us. So if you cancel, 60 days in advance, you get like a 75% credit to use for a future stay. Again, that's all for free. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but that's just one of the services we provide. But you're able to purchase outside insurance that could possibly cover you, get you money back. But one of the things to consider is ours is a no questions asked policy. You bring your daughter and she breaks up with her boyfriend and you don't want to go anymore, perfectly fine. If you get typical travel insurance, many times it has to be like a doctor approved thing. You have to get a note, you have to have a hospital visit. It's not a no questions asked policy. Or some of them do offer no questions asked policy, but I know they can be on the more expensive side. But either way, make sure you look into some sort of travel insurance to help cover you for your trip. And yes.
Can I add one thing here?
This is the top 5 things. This is not top 6. What do you got?
So this is just, so you have someone here that's never rented DVC, right?
Okay.
And you have this huge crowd of people that have rented DVC, and I mean, they've done it multiple times, and they love it. So they're telling them, you should rent DVC points. You should rent DVC points. You can save a bunch of money, right? Mm-hmm. So this person says, okay, so in their mind, they say, renting DVC points, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to save a bunch of money. And then they come and they say, oh, okay, I want to stay these dates at the Polynesian. And then the person's like, okay, you want to stay in a studio or you want to stay in a bungalow? Oh, we'll just stay in a bungalow. So the next thing you know, they're checking availability for 10 nights in a bungalow at a really busy time. And then they're getting a price quote of like $14,250. And they're like, oh these people over here told me I could save a bunch of money. Well, it's like you're requesting like basically one of the largest DVC rooms for this amount of nights at the busiest time. So my tip would be, again, like on the DVC-Rental, there's a point calculator, mm-hmm. right? And does that spit out point
dollar amounts
total
as well.
And dollar amount?
Yep, there's a little button to toggle between the point amount and the dollar amounts.
So you can know going into it, if you talk to your family and say, we want to go here, you can look at a point chart and see how many points that is. Mm-hmm. So that would be my tip is you can see how many points these different trips are, because the next thing you know, when you're requesting a Copper Creek cabin, it's going to be a lot of points, which is going to result in, a huge price ticket, and you're going to say, whoa, where's the savings that these people were talking about?
You make a very good point, and I would say, do a little research, make sure you know what you're trying to get, because it brought up the story that we had somebody a couple years ago contacted us, and they said that they wanted a 2-bedroom at Bay Lake Tower. And I gave them the price of it, and they said, wow, that's so much more expensive than the quote that we got at the All-Star Movies. We're just going to go with that one. And that was the end of it. I'm like, you wanted a 2-bedroom at a deluxe resort, and your response was, that's more than the value resort from Disney. And I don't think we even followed up. I think we just let it go because I said, they've kind of got it locked in and they had not done the research. And, it was kind of like, they came to us and they would look at the prices of Ferraris and they were like, what is wrong with you? The Toyota Corolla we were just priced was, 10 times less. I'm buying that. It's like, well, you weren't comparing apples to apples here. These were two very different animals between a 2-bedroom at Bay Lake Tower and a regular value room, which is pretty much kind of like a motel.
Yeah, I mean, they were looking at the cost of going to see their son perform in the 11th grade choir, and then they were looking at the price tickets to see Taylor Swift in person.
I was just going to say, don't say Taylor Swift. Don't say Taylor Swift. You brought Taylor Swift back into it again.
So, you know what I mean? That's my tip is, you can, I don't want you to be blindsided by the numbers that they're giving you for the rental price because the reality of it is it's right there for you to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, absolutely. There should never be like a huge surprise.
Right.
Between our check availability tool, which prices at everything, and the calculator where you can see stuff in advance, see what every single room at every resort costs. You should never go into this and be like, oh my gosh, this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it goes back to number one with the scam. If somebody is saying, I have a 2-bedroom at Bay Lake Tower, checking in this day, checking out this day, and it's, when you do the calculations, it comes out to $5 a point. Mm-hmm. It's most likely a scam. Where, again, if you know how how it's done, the calculation, you can kind of spot the scams. Because
you're exactly correct. Like the way we work is we're $25 per point, and that includes the insurance and everything. And you're buying from a legit company. A lot of times online, if you use a private person, they could be in the $20, $22 a range, something like that. If the points are expiring soon, maybe $18 a point. A lot of these scams that have come through. Oh, I've got this great room. It's exactly. Somebody goes, I'm looking for beach club for this week here. And they get contacted behind the scenes, a private message that says, I have beach club for exactly those nights for $10 a point. And you go, that's amazing. That's a fantastic deal. Scam. It just screams scam. And it's always what happens. It's always, they never reply in a group where anybody can see them because then they get nailed for it. They'll always send you a DM privately and say, hey, I have exactly what you need for this amazing price. And people are like, oh my gosh, I need to jump on that. And that's how you get scammed.
That's very good information. That is very good information. Make sure to save this episode. I don't know how to bookmark a YouTube video, but you need to save this episode because if you're renting,
there's a button that you can save it to watch it later. So there's a save button.
Very good information.
Hit the little heart, hit the like, hit everything.
Leave a comment. And again, you should come here first because they allow you to check availability and everything. You don't have to put a deposit down or anything. So you should always start here, and hopefully they have the points for the stay that you're trying to book.
You just point something, I'll throw this in quickly. I mean, you just mentioned there are still companies out there that have not changed how they've done their work over the last 15 years. And you tell them what you want. So your first two options, you put a deposit down. And if anything is available, even if it's your second option, they just book it and you're locked in. That's the end of it. You have no say. You forfeit your deposit if it's not what you want. With us, we have a check availability. It automatically tells you what's there, tells you what the price is. And then only when you're ready to book, you go in there and say, I want this room, and then we'll move forward. You're never locked in just to check what's available. So even if you don't book with us, please feel free to come to our website, click the check availability button, and see if what you want's available. You should never be locked into something without having a choice.
Absolutely. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
Have a wonderful day.